Hello, BookTube. A long and beautiful summer weekend is now over, and the week has commenced with mail. So I thought we'd go through it. This is Monday mail for you. Let's see what we have. Oh. Okay. This first package comes with a very promising symbol on it. Okay, this has got to be only one thing. This can only be one thing. There's only one Bigfoot book that I know of that I'm going to get anyway. Yes, okay. All right. I have already praised this book. This comes out in July, and it is incredible. Let's see here. I want to sing its praises again. Yeah, this comes out in early July, and this is In the Valleys of the Noble Beyond by John Zada. A book very much like Peter Mathiassen's The Snow Leopard, where he spends the whole thing hunting for a semi-mythical creature, and beautifully evoking the landscape while he does it. What a book this is. Finally, after all this time, a Bigfoot book that you can actually discuss, that you can actually talk about with people, with people who are not into the subject. Fantastic. Okay, so this comes out on July the 2nd, and oh, now I'm sorry that Frida got at that envelope, because I'd kind of like to save that Bigfoot sign. But anyway, that is a great start. We started with Bigfoot. The week started with Bigfoot. That is wonderful. Let's move on here. What is this next one? Oh, fantastic. Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. This is from Yale. This comes out in September. And this is The Dregs of the Day by Martin O'Caden. And this is translated from the Irish by Alan Titley. Very nice cover. And this is the final published work by the renowned author. This novella follows a widower as he attempts to plan his wife's funeral arrangements without money, without direction, and without whiskey. Thrown into the desert of unknowing, he knows not where to turn or what to do. And it's a poignant meditation on regret, possibilities, maybes, avoidances, and the author portrays a man hopelessly watching as the people in the world go about their lives around him. And this is the author of the book that Yale's translation had as The Dirty Dust. And this is that's great. They're just, somebody at Yale must believe in this author, because they're bringing out his books. Fantastic. Okay. All right, we are 2 for 2. There's no way. There's a pile here. There's probably 10 books, so there's no way this is going to continue. But I'm happy with it so far. Let's see. Let's see what the next one is. Oh my. Okay. Okay, this is we are now 3 for 3. This comes out in early July, and this is science fiction. It's just straight old-fashioned space opera science fiction. This is Marco Kloos, Aftershocks, for the splintered planet there. This summer, Marco Kloos will release the first book in his exciting new Palladium Wars space opera series, sure to please fans of both classic and military science fiction alike, as well as fans of contemporary science fiction series. Kloos kicks off his new series in the 6-planet Gaia star system set in the aftermath of a devastating war where the Earth-like Grecia struggles to stabilize once again. Palladium is an essential element of the universe's technology, paramount in the production of artificial gravity generators, reminiscent of gas in our early society. As one planet holds a tight grip on palladium, tensions mount and ultimately reach a breaking point that results in a war that leaves tens of millions dead. And the author wrote the Frontline series of science fiction, military science fiction, and he's a member of George R.R. Martin's Wildcard Consortium. I don't know what that is. I don't have any idea what that is. And he lives in New Hampshire with his wife, 2 children, and a roving pack of voracious dachshunds. I'm not sure that he has it easy. I only have one raving little dog. And you don't always rave, do you? No, you're often a good little girl. All right, great. So, Bigfoot, Irish fiction, and science fiction. Okay, all right, let's continue. Let's move on. Here. You want that? No? I'm not putting much effort into it, Bean. What have we got here? Okay, all right. Okay, our first stumble. Not much of one, though. This comes out in late July. This is historical fiction, and I've read the first book. What was the first book called? Well, we'll find out. I read the first book, and I liked it. I didn't quite love it. I liked it. And this is, I don't think I ever read the second book, and this is the third book in the West Country trilogy by Tim Pearce. This is the Redeemed. In The Wanderers, which I believe was the second book, we left Leo Sercombe and Lottie Prideaux. Leo, we left him at the end of the second book. We left him drifting across farmland and moor, untethered and desperate for his home on the Prideaux estate. Lottie, living at home, was navigating her home life with a new stepmother and continuing to exasperate everyone around her with her unladylike ways. And The Redeemed, this book, is set in 1916. And Leo is a very long way from home and his beloved horses. Just 16, he is one of a dozen boys serving in the Royal Navy on the battlecruiser Queen Mary. He thinks of Lottie often, yearning for his life back in the English countryside as the ship heads into battle with the Germans and Leo witnesses unspeakable violence. So the series moves to World War I. Boy, oh boy, I'm a little bit iffy here. This comes out on in late July. That's time enough for me to maybe get caught up. Because I don't think I read the second book in this series. I think I read only the first one. Okay. All right, I'll have to figure out what to do about that. I have time, but that's good. All right, let's see. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, sorry, did you want that? You didn't do anything with the last one? No? Just a little bit no? Oh, no. Okay, all right. All right. Okay, this is just a double, that's all. This is Aftershocks. This is a paperback. It looks like a finished... No, it's not a finished paperback. This is an advanced paperback, and then there's the hardcover. Just a mistake. That's all just not a clerical error. So let's move on to this next one. We've got a couple of cardboard packages, and then a box. And then we'll be done with the first mail haul of the week. Let's see here. Oh, goodness gracious. This is by Jamil Giovanni, who is a lawyer and community activist. He is currently a visiting professor at Osgoode Hall Law School, where he focuses on community organizing and local economic development. And this is his book, Why Young Men? The Dangerous Allure of Violent Movements and What We Can Do About It. Why Young Men? Oh my. The author explores the reasons behind the explosion of unpredictable violence committed by alienated young men across the globe. He recounts his experiences working as a youth activist throughout North America and in the Middle East, drawing striking parallels between ISIS recruits, gangbangers, and neo-Nazis in the West. Having narrowly escaped a descent into crime and gang violence himself, he has devoted his life to help others at risk to avoid that same fate in cities across North America. Okay. Wow. Alright, so this comes out soon. This comes out in a couple of weeks. I don't think I got an advance copy. I certainly haven't read this, but I'm dying to read it now, because it's a subject that involves all of us. Literally, it does. It involves all of us. You can't go anywhere without being at risk now. Not just in America, but anywhere. I think I will read the book and see the author's more of an expert than I am, but I think these questions boil down to one element, right? There's one element that all of these young men have in common, and that's no fathers and no father figures. No strong male authority figures. I'd be willing to bet that unites virtually 99% of these people. And I don't know what you can do about that. You can't they don't just grow on trees. You'd be lucky if you can get one. What we can do about it. That's part of the subtitle. What would you do? If I'm right, and that's the biggest thing, the biggest commonality of all these radicalized young men, East and West, then what would you do about it? I don't know. Okay, let's move on. What is this? What is this next one? I don't know that I should continue feeding the bean, because she clearly wants these things, but she's pooped. She's not doing anything with them. We went on a walk out in the sun, and it did her in. I'm learning that this dog really doesn't. She has all the spirit in the world, but she really has no tolerance for heat. Worse even than my Basset Hound. We go launching off into the stratosphere, and then she's just pooped. Okay, this next one, of course, the pull tab did not open, so I had to tear apart the package, but that's all right. Oh, okay. This is the finished copy. We saw this already. We saw this. We saw the advanced copy of this. Let's see. This is a June release, I think. No, this is early July. This is early July. This is Maureen Callahan, American Predator: The Hunt for the Most Meticulous Serial Killer of the 21st Century. Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer. The names of notorious serial killers are usually well known, although not always. Serial killer profilers have always stated that these are the ones who screw up, and the really bad ones, you don't know their names because although they leave bodies everywhere across the country, they don't get caught. These are the names of notorious serial killers are usually well known. They echo in the news and in public consciousness. But many people have never heard of Israel Keyes, one of the most ambitious and terrifying serial killers in modern history. A predator who struck at random, attacking strangers and burying kill kits all over the United States. Keyes had no particular MO or victim type, a fact that helped him go undetected by law enforcement for over a decade. The exact extent of his crimes is still unknown, but he may have murdered at least a dozen people, if not more. And a predator was just came into the news who's probably guilty of 3 times that many deaths, and looks like just a homeless guy that you would see at the library. And I've had the advanced copy of this, but I haven't got to it, and it's due in early July, so I think that'll probably be head of the list here. And then we'll do the it also comes with a okay. I got the pub sheet and I got the finished copy, but I also got a postcard. I'm not sure that you would use this. Who would you send it to? Maybe to the retired book nerd. I'd send her a postcard about a serial killer. So let's see what the box is. Oh, my poor pooped bean. Oh. What is the box? Let's see here. How odd. Okay. This can't possibly be what I think it is. Oh, son of a gun! It is. Okay, this is this is a reprint. Well, isn't that strange? This is the Potomacsburg imprint of the University of Nebraska Press. I still don't believe this, but I guess it's true. This is Common Cause by Samuel Hopkins Adams. A rather lovely trade paperback reprint of a novel by Samuel Hopkins Adams. There's not going to be 2 of you who knows that name. A lost literary relic of the First World War, I'll say. Common Cause tells the story of Jeremy Robson, a crusading newspaper editor in the fictional Midwestern town of Fenchester. The Guardian's muckraking has led special interests to withhold advertising in order to drive Robson out of business, but he and local plutocrats put their differences aside when war is declared in 1917 in order to attack the German-American community for its supposed fealty to their fatherland. Common Cause provides a vivid picture of the America First fear and hate that gripped the American Midwest during the Great War. And this has to be 60 years old. When are we going to be told? Are we going to be told when this book was first published? Yes, Samuel Hopkins Adams, who was born in 1871 and died in 1958, was an American muckraker and World War I propagandist. He wrote for the New York Sun, McClure's Magazine, Collier's Weekly, and authorized dozens of books, including Revelry and Common Cause. He also wrote for a couple of other newspapers a little closer to Boston, obviously. The pub sheet does not tell me the original date of this book, but it's a very long time ago. How odd. How utterly odd. Okay, all right. I just never know what I'm going to get here. I just never do. Okay, so this has a July 1st publication date. I will read it right away. Okay, so in this pile, I'm going to do Why Young Men, American Predator, and Common Cause today. I'll just let them shove everything else aside, or almost everything else. I'm going to be reading for most of the day. So that is our mail haul. Fantastic. Wow. Okay, so we have American Predator. about a 21st century serial killer. We have Common Cause, a World War I historical novel from at least 70 years ago. We have Why Young Men by a community organizer and activist who has studied the radicalization of young men. The Redeemed by Tim Pears. This is the concluding volume of his West Country trilogy. Aftershocks by Marco Cluse, which is the first book, I think, in a new science fiction horse opera. The Dregs of the Day, an old Irish novel. So that's two older books that just sort of stuck into our mail haul. And In the Valleys of the Noble Beyond by Jean Zada. I really cannot praise this book high enough. If you are interested in Bigfoot and have always felt a little embarrassed by that fact, then this is the book for you, because the author is not going to condescend to you. He does not consider you crazy, and he writes beautifully. So all right, not a bad start for the mail for the week. Very good. I'm going to dive right into some of these things. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.